Hello and welcome to this morning time taste challenge. I have two blended Scotch whiskeys. They're both 40% alcohol and they're both bottled in Kentucky, and neither one of them has a website listing. This is J.W. Dant. Yeah, you can see them at the very end. J.W. Dant's. This company was founded in 1836. J.W. Dant was from Scotland, but he settled in Kentucky and started making bourbon. Then his company expanded to all kind of stuff, and they even brought in Scotch under their name. I don't know who makes it in Scotland. There's a lion and a unicorn holding up a shield. Medals that the whiskey never won. It's aged 3 years. There's an essay on the back about Scotch whiskey. Pretty interesting essay. You don't find too many bottles of whiskey with essays on the back. I bought this at Dormax Food Center. They don't sell it there anymore. This liter bottle was only $8.99. I've never seen this product in my town ever. It might be common where you live, but it's certainly not common here. All right, this is Legacy, introduced in 1962 by the Sazerac Company, and it's still owned by the Sazerac Company. So it's only had one owner. It's bottled at Buffalo Trace, which was bought by the Sazerac Company in 1992. And there you go. Nice little pen and ink drawing on there of Scotland and whiskey barrels and a distillery. $14.99 for this 1,750 milliliter bottle. Plastic. Now, a few days after I bought this, I went to the west bank of the Mississippi River in Jefferson Parish. I bought this on the east bank, also at Dormax. They still carry it. And I saw a glass bottle at a different store, but I wasn't buying another bottle. I got this big thing here. But yes, I would prefer glass. Looks nicer, but yeah, that's it. That's the situation at hand. You can buy Dant in the big plastic bottles. You can buy Dant in the liter bottles, glass, or the 750 glass. But they don't list it on the website. They don't promote it because it is a very cut rate, low shelf product, like the bottom shelf. All right, but it tastes all right. It's nothing spectacular by any means. And it's all gone now. This is it. This is the end, which is convenient because I'm going to need that bottle to dump the Cuddy Sark Prohibition edition into because of it looks messy with I was cleaning the house, so I took my tennis shoes off there, and I was mopping the kitchen floor, and I had to move chairs out of there. All right, but anyway, that's the reason. Normally, I would not have it looking like that. So I'm going to have to pour the Cuddy Sark Prohibition edition through the coffee filter into the bottle of J.W. Dant. And I'll just write on there with a marker. Cuddy Sark Prohibition edition. If you watch the previous live video, you'll see the cork break during the video. I said, let me open this. Cork was dry rotted, deteriorated, broke in half. Couldn't get over that. So that was a delay. I would give the edge to J.W. Dant in this showdown. I think it's going to win, but here we go. All right. I know that's the Legacy because it's lighter. I know the Legacy's light straw, so I better mix them up again. There is a J.W. Dant black label. That's a bourbon, straight bourbon. There's a J.W. Dant like some other color. That's an American blended whiskey. I think there's a J.W. Dant bottle and bond bourbon. There's a rum, a gin, a brandy, maybe brandy, a rum, a gin, a vodka. Yeah, so it's not a company. It was a company, but it was bought. And if you look at the trademark data, Heaven Hill is the 12th owner. Since 1836, they've had 12 owners of the brand. So it doesn't stick around long, and then they might have sold it by the time. Maybe that's why they don't have it listed on the website. Maybe they sold Dant. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked. was owned by Shinley at one time, Shinley Industries Distillery, who Sazerac bought. Sazerac bought Shinley. But they might have sold it to Heaven Hill before they were bought by Sazerac. I mean, it's hard to follow a chronological order of all of this. Although Heaven Hill's pretty good about listing the years they bought different products. They do list it. And I could find out, but it's not important enough to take the effort to do it. Just know it exists. You can buy it. It's not that great. But on the other hand, it's not bad. I thought I was smelling smoke, but that's not right. Maybe somebody's smoking a turkey. Just cereal grain, which makes sense. Okay, over here. Weird caramel candy. That has got to be the legacy, which has started to take on this strange caramel candy aroma since I opened the bottle a week ago. It is. I got it right. I got to make a new tag. This tag's getting deteriorated. That's all right. I used it a long time. All right. This one's holding up. That's the competitor tag. That's the mainframe tag. That's the main product. The control group. Okay. So I guessed it on aroma only. Aroma only. Which sounds like that would be a benefit for the legacy, but it's actually a detriment because it smells so strange that you can pick it up on the nose, and it's an aroma that to me is negative for Scotch. Jason Cleveland says, "Happy Thanksgiving, Jay. I hope you and your family have a blessed day." Same to you, Jason. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I forgot. I said it earlier this morning when I did my first video with the cork fiasco. That's why I'm doing this now, because I got to get the bottle filled with the Cuddy Sark Prohibition Edition. Burley Sullivan says, "You." Hey, Burley, cheers back to you. So, last time in my life, I'll probably drink Dance. I don't know. I keep thinking I smell smoke. It's not coming from outside. I don't know. Maybe there's a wisp of it. Not in the flavor. It's just honey. It's a balmy 35 degrees outside here in socialist Western Washington State. Oh, really? That sounds bad. It's about 72 here. But we have a cold front coming. It'll get down to like maybe even 39 one night with this next event. I doubt it, but it might. They're saying like 41. Usually it gets a little colder than they'll say. Like AccuWeather will say 41, lower 41, but then you can check it be 39. So it could happen. I'm talking about tomorrow night or the next night. It's damp like Western Washington right now. I don't know. It's a strange caramel candy flavor, like a Riesling, which, in my opinion, is not proper for Scotch. There is an underlying weird peatiness, compost pile taste. This one is almost impossible to accurately describe. It's the kind of thing you got to get and try it yourself. I wouldn't recommend doing it. Now, when I first tried it, I would have recommended it. I thought it was really nice. And then, once that air got into it. But now I would say you may as well skip it. JW Dant, yeah, you could try it, especially if you get this liter for $8.99. Claude Diamond, yeah, I've been reading the book. I'm reading about Ralph. He was dramatic. Okay, good morning, Mr. Ron. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving Day to you, Claude. Yeah, I only got to the part of the book where the man went crazy at work and screamed at the boss and left. I don't know what else is going to happen. I don't like fiction. I don't usually read fiction, but since Claude sent it to me, I will. And then anyway, he's saying it's fiction based on real realities. Maybe a way to bring up names without people saying that you're talking about them. Smart way to do it. I really like I am no Hemingway or Stephen King, but I enjoy writing and happy endings. Okay. So that's telling me Ralph is going to have the guts to succeed. I don't watch movies anymore because I think they're dumb. And I remember Gladiator, they were saying how awesome it was. It won Best Picture. And I watched the movie and I was like, this is the most predictable thing. It was just like, okay, you know he's going to come in and get revenge in the arena at the end and defeat the emperor and defeat the bad guys and get everything hunky dory. I mean, it was like too obvious, and it had bad computer special effects. It had bad acting. It had bad writing. It had bad everything. I said, if this won Best Picture, I'd hate to see the movies that didn't win Best Picture. Only thing I liked about it was that battle scene with the Germans. That was kind of nice, you know. But I said when I watched that movie, I was like, I got to sit through this whole thing. You need to watch Groundhog Day with Bill Murray or The Big Lebowski. I've heard of Groundhog Day, and I remember when it came out, I even have a pen from it. They gave it out at the theater for some other movie when I used to go to movies. You know, little pins you wear. I have it. It says Groundhog Day, but I've never seen a movie. Big Lebowski, never seen a movie. I just don't like movies. I'd rather watch sports. But some people are like, oh, boring sports. Well, it's what you like to watch. You know, it's not like a law you got to watch. If I don't like movies, I like documentaries sometimes. They're usually very biased, but a lot of times I just watch live video feeds from like the Bahamas Senate. They look like they're sitting in a little closet, like a room small as this room, but they got like a whole Senate sitting in there. It's like 6 people on each side of the table. It is bizarre. You watch it, and then you find out that a country that's a small country that doesn't have a lot of money, you see what they deal with. Like their Senate chamber is a small room. I'm serious, with some windows. This has windows. With a table, just a regular like wooden table that you would buy at the furniture store, and these office chairs. And they'll sit there, and sometimes you watch the live feed, it lasts like 4 hours, and they just in there cooped up debating bills. And I say, boy, I would have a hot temper too, like sometimes they get if I was in this little room. And then there's people watching it, and they're just standing up against the wall or sitting in a chair against the wall. And I was like, woof. Now, the Jamaica Senate, I was watching that, and they had really bad, they have debates where they get so angry, you know, and but they only have one chamber but 2 houses. In other words, there's a House of Parliament, but there's only one chamber, so they take turns. They don't have enough money to build 2 houses, so they just have a sitting of the Senate and then a sitting of the House of Assembly, or what we call the House of Representatives. So they got to take turns. You know, if you go to Canada, they got the huge Senate building, and then they got the huge other side, of the Capitol, the House of Commons, and it's big. You know, it's huge and it's opulent. It's like the most expensive leather seating, gold leaf. You know, it's just so fancy. And then you watch the Jamaica Senate, and it's a cinder block building built in 1962, I think, and or 59. Is just something you would see at like a county council, legislative council, like say Platte, Nebraska County, basic like that. Like you wouldn't think it would be for a country, you know. But anyway, now Australia, their Senate chamber is real fancy because they got money. And I I was watching I was watching a recording last night of a thing earlier that day when they had kicked out one of their senators, suspended her because she went crazy. She's always berating and abusing senators. And then she tore up paper and threw it at another lady, and they told her you can't come back for a day or 2 days. Okay, back to the whiskey. I read and listen to books. I love Audible and Kindle. My grandfather used to like to listen to books, not novels, like nonfiction, because his eyesight went bad when he had diabetes. So I would get those recordings and he would listen to books, and he liked that. Kingpin, you really jarred something loose, Tiger. Stephen King's novels are good, says Herbie. Something good. All right. All right. Anyway, so but that's the kind of stuff I like to watch. So some people would just roll their eyes and be like, "You watch the most boring stuff in the world." Yes, it's not boring to me, but it would be boring to most everybody. When I went to the Bahamas, I went to their legislature, to the Capitol building, which was very small, like I say, like a town hall, and I watched the debate in the House of Commons, they call it. The Senate wasn't in session that day. They told me, well, it's not open. They're not doing anything. How would I have fit in that little closet anyway? So the legislature, the House of Commons was small, but they had a little area where you could sit. But they told me, you can't come in like that. I had shorts on, Bahamas, you're wearing shorts. He's like, you have to wear nice pants. I had like a golf shirt, like those sports shirts, like they wear in the golf tournaments. He said, you could wear that shirt, but the pants. So I had to go back to the hotel and get slacks, come back. He said, the guard. He said, yeah, you can go in now. And then across the hall was the Supreme Court. So I went and I watched a murder trial. I've never been to a murder trial in my life. It was just like on television. Like you say, well, television's so different, but it was just like TV. I was sitting thinking, this is just like television. They all the lawyers acted the same, and their judges are different there though. But and then I went across the hall, and the House of Commons was having a debate. I think over water drainage, water pipes. Like a drainage system or a plumbing system for a town, water supply system for some island, and they were arguing over that. And there's some English guys, old people that were left over from England, still in the Parliament. They live in the Bahamas. Okay, JY. Oh, Jay, was this in Nassau? On the island of New Providence. Yeah. Of course, we went to Paradise Island, and we went to the beach, and we went to around the island on the bus, and went to seafood restaurants and all the other stuff that tourists do. We went to see the Navy. Their Navy is 2 small ships. It's more like the Coast Guard, but they call it the Navy, but it's very tiny. But they don't have to worry about their defense because nobody's going to invade the Bahamas. So this, it's just there. All right. JW Dant is sweeter. It's more honey. There's more, it's like honey top white bread. If you ever had, what they call it, sourly honey top white bread, that's what it tastes like. It's good. It's a good flavor. I like it. I like JW Dant. I give it a B+. Very good. 8.8 out of 10. Legacy, well, I don't really like it. I don't hate it, but I find it's improper. And so I would score it. Oh, when I was in Canada, we went in the Senate, but it was empty because they weren't in session. So the tour guide just showed us all around. In fact, none of the legislatures we went to was in session. We went to Prince Edward Island. They took us in there, and that's small, like a city council building. It was very interesting. And then we went to oh, in Toronto. I didn't have time to go in. There was something happening. Something, but I went to the outside of it. New Brunswick, same thing. I got to see the outside of the thing. And in Canada, we did go to Rideau Hall, which is the where like our White House, same thing, but they don't have a president in Canada. They have a governor general who represents the king, Charles III. So they have the changing of the guard, just like in England. They have the changing of the guard, and we've got to watch that. They march out with bagpipes, have a ceremony, and then they take their place with the big bearskin caps and all, just like in England. And I asked one of the police, I said, "Why are they doing this?" He said, "Oh, they have to go to lunch." So that makes sense. Okay, they have like a certain number of hours they have to stand guard, and they got to be stone faced, can't respond to anybody. Are these brands you try available at most liquor stores? They're available. Yeah, they're around. If you check around the U.S., you'll see them. Just look low. Look low. They're on the bottom shelf probably. Oh, and I did go to the Capitol building in Gibraltar, but it was locked. I don't know. It just wasn't open. And in England, the Buckingham Palace. Buckingham Palace was locked. It was nighttime, but I don't think they let anybody in. I don't think they give tours of that. I could be wrong, but I got to see it. Took photos. Held onto the gate. The fence. It was a nice fence. Dirty Dighty says thumbs up. Yeah, we went to the Bahamas to their White House, what you call it. They call it Government House, where they have a Governor General also representing the King. They don't have a president. And I was telling my friend Paul, I said, let's just go in and look around. Like, we're so ignorant, about stuff. I was like, we're gonna go in and look around, And this guy comes jumping out the guard booth with a M like a M16 rifle, wearing fatigues, like he's in jungle warfare, pointing a gun at us. Halt! I said, whoa, Daddy. He said, where do you think you're going? So we're just going to look around the Capitol, Man, he said, man, you can't come in here. You can't come in here. I said, well, it's owned by the government. Seemed like the public should be able to look at it. You can't come in here. You can't come in here. I said, don't they have the band that's supposed to do some kind of ceremony out here? He said, yeah, they're supposed to, but they're having some trouble. I said, what you mean they're having some trouble? He said, they're just having some trouble. That's all I'm going to tell you. He was like, they're having some trouble. I think they had like a strike, like the army goes on a strike. I don't know. But they didn't have it. I was like, okay. That was funny. Well, getting the gun pointed at you wasn't really funny. But I said, they're not playing around over here, boy. But then we went to this like cliff where you could look down to the beach. But it was like a cliff. Bahamas is very hilly. Not mountainous, but hilly. I'm going to tell you. And they were playing where they throw the ball, pitch the ball, cricket. And we were watching them play cricket, but I didn't understand what was happening. But they dressed in all white. Both teams dressed all white. That's the uniform, all white. And then I went to Canada one time to Toronto, and they were having a cricket match across the street from the hotel. And I was watching them play cricket, and I didn't understand it. And they were wearing all white. And they were very serious about it, though. They were like, oh, no, 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 no. Arguing about something that happened. And I was like, I don't know what they're arguing about. I said, too bad I don't understand the game. But I did go see the Toronto Blue Jays twice. So I did understand that. And I got to go on a tour of the Rogers Center, the Sky Dome. They took us on a tour, and that was very nice. It was only $11 Canadian. We didn't get to go to the locker room, though, because they were having a game that night. So the players were getting ready and resting. So they said, well, you can't go in the locker room because they're having a game tonight. They said if the team was on the road, you could go see how fancy the locker room is. But, of course, every time I go to these tours, like in Baltimore, but it's because it's the day of the game, and I can't go to the locker room. But in Baltimore, they let us go in the field and let us go in the press box, where they do the broadcast. So that was very nice to see that. It was so fancy, Anyway, well, thanks everybody for watching. Sorry to you, Legacy, because you keep losing and you're going to keep losing. And that's not my problem because I did not create Legacy. And it's leaving a legacy of defeat. Dance, buy it. I think you'll like it. Legacy, that's up to you. If you want to do that, do it. All right, y'all take care now. Bye-bye.